Hey guys, Brother Andrew here. During all these things that we are going through right now is the perfect time to reevaluate where your priorities are. What are the things truly important to you that you are going to focus your time on? It's really interesting to look across at different people, knowing that we all get the same 24-hour day, and yet some people are better users of those 24 hours. Now, I want to give you an idea that is going to help you in that prioritization, because the reality is this: you have the time. You really do have the time. And especially when it comes to spiritual disciplines, especially when it comes to strengthening your relationship with God, that would be something that would be a very good priority for you to focus on all the time, especially right now when we have probably more time than we know what to do with. So I want to give you guys an idea that's going to help you understand how it is that you spend your time. You probably already do this, whether or not you know it or not. Now, this idea is not original to me. I first came across this many years ago, known as the Eisenhower Productivity Matrix, named after President Dwight D. Eisenhower. And I've since adapted this a little bit, and I've come across other variations of this. And I wanted to share it with you because it has been a big help for me prioritizing the things that are important to me and how I spend my time, hopefully in a way that works and it uses it well. These are broken up into 4 quadrants. Hopefully you can see this on the screen where you are. The first top line right now would be anything over here that we call important things. All right. The bottom line is anything that we call not important things. And the first column would be urgent. And the second column would be not urgent. And to help with this, and it helps in my mind too, I've labeled these quadrants 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, let me give you guys some examples of things that would go into each quadrant so that you can take this for yourself and make it your own. Now, let's start in the bottom. Let's start with quadrant number 4. As you can tell, these are things that would be considered not important and not urgent. All right, now these can sometimes be things that suck up your time. They can be fun things. They can be amazing things. We need to spend some time in here just kind of decompressing and chilling. But let's take me, for example. Video games fit into that category. Now, I love playing games, but when it really comes down to what's important in my life, I know that that's not important. And when it comes down to what is urgent and how I spend my time, I know that that is not urgent. It's not saying it's wrong, but when it comes to getting the important things done in my life, I know that that fits in the category 4, and I can afford to spend less time doing things that fit into that category. Let's jump back to category number 3. Now, these are things that are not important, but they are urgent. Let me give you an example for your life. This might be mom and dad telling you that today is the day to clean the house. For you, that's not important, but it is an urgent task that you have been given. So anything that gets put in this category kind of takes over. You might not want to spend that time, but you have been given that assignment. You have been delegated some responsibilities. Maybe you can delegate some of those responsibilities to somebody else. I doubt it. I don't know. But that would be what goes into category 3. And so when things go into category 3, we might not enjoy spending time working on those things, but they are good for us to work on, especially when they've been assigned to us by other people. Let's jump back to category 1, though. Category 1 would be something that's classified as important and urgent. Now, more times than not, these are going to be the things that show up quickly, that you didn't really know about ahead of time. Things like, oh my gosh, we ran out of milk. I can't have my cereal for lunch. That's important and it's urgent. You're going to drop what you're doing and you're going to run out and get some milk. Many things go in this, time-sensitive kind of things go in this. Take this as your own, and you're going to have to break apart your own schedule and list the common things that happen and the things that show up randomly and put these in your own categories. Now, category 1 is not a bad place to spend your time. It's really not, because, like I said, these are important things. They need to get done, and they're also urgent. And so they need to get done probably rather quickly, okay? But let's jump over to category 2, because category 2 is probably the most important part of this graph. Category 2 is where you want to spend most of your time, in as much as you are in charge of how you spend your time. I know that you might not be in charge. Somebody might be telling you all the things that you have to get done. And so those fall into category 1 and category 3. But when you get to decide how you spend your time, category 2 is where you want to be. These are things that are not urgent, but they are important. They're not time sensitive. In fact, sometimes they take a lot of time to focus on. And your relationship with God should be right here in category 2. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying not urgent as if it's not important. Remember, it is important. But you're not getting graded on this. You're not having to turn in an assignment on this. It just helps you recognize that anything that goes in category 2, you are going to have to be intentional about setting aside that time. And your time with God is exactly that. It's intentional time where you stop doing what's urgent, where you stop doing what's not important, and you focus on something that truly is important. If I was to say it like this, I would say it. You have the time. It's really up to you to decide what goes in what category and when you're going to focus on the things that go in each category. And my hope, my prayer is that as you evaluate what you do on a regular basis, that you'll recognize that your time with God really does belong here in category number 2, and that will help you choose how you spend your time this week. Until we see you again, love you and God bless.